So in this, we have already seen in our introduction, the virtualization, multi-tenancy, network access, scalability, metering, chargeback is needed, right? And SaaS, PaaS, IaaS is needed, right? And we have also gone through the cloud computing definition. And for completeness of this lecture note, I am keeping it here. And there were 5 essential characteristics, 3 service model, 4 deployment models are there. Delivery models like public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. And between if company going for hybrid cloud, there should be a interconnection, a bridge should be there between a public and private cloud. Later on in the cloud computing architecture, we will know that how the hybrid cloud, what are the different type of hybrid cloud architectures are there by which companies are using both their private cloud as well as their public cloud. Public cloud is providing the scalability and cost effectiveness. And we just saw the data center, and one data center we saw Amazon has around 80,000 server. So 80,000 server will have at least more than 300 to 400,000 clients. And in fact, a couple of clients using the same rack or the same devices, but all the clients does not have each client data is protected and private. The other will not have the access. It's completely secure. The other is not going to see. Then the private cloud, where the company want to keep their data in house, and it is maintained by the single organization. And this public cloud is accessed by its own employee. So, and it has to maintain its own infrastructure. Later on, we will see what are the different things you have to manage between different type of cloud platform. So in a hybrid cloud, what people using the combination of public, private, and community cloud. So public cloud providing the elasticity, while private cloud is providing total control and regulation and flexibility. We can put any kind of thing. While in public cloud, whatever the cloud provider is giving, we only are allowed to use that. Though they provide a lot of things, sometimes we need something which is not available there. In community cloud, combination of people or organization can come together and share the expenses and keep their community cloud. Hybrid cloud is a combination of it. They may like to have a scalability or other aspect, something they can use it on public cloud. So community cloud is a collaborative effort, and here the infrastructure cost is shared among the members with a mutual agreement. In attributes of cloud computing, we have seen 5 characteristics where the virtualization is a core. Means without virtualization, the cloud computing has no meaning. It's not going to be possible. And maintaining this data center is highly expensive. So a dedicated data center, there are dedicated data center like US Defense. If they are hosting on Amazon or Azure, they demand a dedicated data center. They pay for it, the services, but for them, they are using the Azure platform, but for them, the data center is dedicated. But usually, if we are going for cloud, it is a multi-tenancy platform where multiple tenants are paying for the resources they are using, and the cloud providers are managing and whatever the upkeeping, availability, and everything there. Network access. So without network, either internet or a closed network, accessing to the cloud is not going to be possible. So network access has to be there. The movement of data, the infrastructure, all is via the network. And so network access is one of the important characteristics of cloud. The very reason people are moving to the cloud because of scalability. We can, if a company scale up, then we can add more resources without even, as you have seen that creating a virtual machine takes a very small amount of time. So scale up, and if you have set up an auto scaling in a cloud service provider environment, then automatically it will scale. It doesn't, the user is not going to feel any interruption in their services. But if in future we don't need resources, then it can scale down, or within a day it can scale up, it can scale down. And cloud is basically on metering services, pay as you go model or pay per second model. So metering chargeback is a part of the cloud ecosystem. So it helps cut down the cost if we really manage the cloud well. For example, if we see here, the one example is there. Like for 1 month, currently at the October 21, the cost is 54,000. But if the same thing is running, so estimated cost with the current usage will be October 31 will be 80,000. And that's so if we are not using the cloud well, we have created the resources and we are not using, so it can be expensive. For example, some of you has seen the mail that to delete your resources. So we saw that there were 3 virtual machines were running, and by that time it was running, it would have cost 104 NOK. But if we have kept it running for another 2 weeks, then it would have cost 300 NOK. So it is giving the flexibility, but if you are not using correctly, then if you forget, if you have 100 employees and they have forgotten to delete the resources, then it is going to cost more. Okay. So wise usage or knowledge of cloud computing is useful for a company to get the benefit out of the cloud, moving to the cloud. Now, how the cloud is maintained. So in the bottom level, you have a network, the network connection, and then you have this computing infrastructure where there is another software layer is there, which can be a VMware or a hypervisor, and physical hardwares are there, which is a computing infrastructure. And then platform and storage infrastructure is there, like database, a storage, an application server are there. And on top, there is a software as a services or web services are there. And finally, the cloud is getting used by the client via the browser or via the devices. So this is a cloud computing stack. We had seen infrastructure as a service, so not going further. So infrastructure as a service, if you think about it, is a data center infrastructure, equipment, virtualization, system engineers are there who is managing the infrastructure as a service. And platform as a service, where on top of the infrastructure, there is operating system is there, the middleware is there, the database is there, and a development platform that comes as a platform as a service. So if we are developing the company as a software as a service, then in the bottom we are taking platform as a service, and on top we are building our software and hosting it. As an end user, when we are using WhatsApp, we are just using WhatsApp as a software as a service. But if we are making a company like Instagram or WhatsApp, then we are developing software as a service and hosting on platform as a service. So software as a service is becoming a boom. If you can see a couple of them, like communication software as a service like Slack, Zoom, then website maker like Wix. You can host a WordPress site using the Wix, Squarespace, e-commerce platform. WooCommerce is there. Just now you saw the WooCommerce is offering software as a service to develop an e-commerce platform, both as a website as well as an app. Then CRM provider, Salesforce is there. Then finance, SAP, Oracle, then supply chain, Atlas planning, document admin. So In the present last 2-3 years, software as a service company are becoming huge. Average profitability, average size of the unicorn company in a software as a service is $2.6 billion at the moment. So they are really becoming big by just using the cloud. So in the cloud, it is easy to move to the cloud, but cloud movement comes with a responsibility, right? So if we are not moving to the cloud, we are doing, or we are on a private cloud, then everything we have to manage: networking, storage, server, virtualization, OS, middleware, runtime, data, and application. So, and for managing everything, the resource will require, the person will require who are going to, and not one person will not be an expert of everything. So for managing networking, a separate expertise required, a storage separate expertise is required, managing server a separate expert is required. So it brings up the cost. But when we are moving to infrastructure as a service, that time the networking, storage, server, and virtualization is managed by the cloud service provider. What we are managing is installing OS on it, middleware, runtime, data, and building application. But when we take platform as a service, then everything else the cloud service provider is managing. We are managing our data and application. But when we are using software as a service, for example, if we are using WhatsApp, everything the others are providing, we are not managing anything. But moving to the cloud comes with an obstacle. Moving change is a lot of time obstacle, though the change is a constant thing. But whenever change happens, people feel challenges. So there are obstacles in cloud computing. What are the obstacles are there? Like there are data security and privacy issues are there. Means though the cloud computing service provider provides a lot of security, we saw tremendous amount of security is there, but still the vulnerability is there. The loss of control over the application will be there. The data is into the third party. So security and privacy is there. A lot of companies are hosting their, the breach can happen both from the company side mistake or can happen from the cloud service provider, some mistake. From other side, usually the mistakes are less. It is always to the cloud user who has not done the configuration properly. Most of the time, the other side mistake rarely happens. Then the other challenge is regulatory and compliance measure. Like we chosen a cloud service provider and we are working on a healthcare industry, and the service provider does not have HIPAA compliance, HIPAA. We will know about this compliance. Then when we are hosting our healthcare application on cloud, then the regulation will come into play. You are not compliant. Or we are, for example, TikTok. TikTok is an example. Now, TikTok is a Chinese app maker. Now, the company who are registered in China, as per the rule of Chinese regulatory, that data has to be in an access of Chinese government, and the data cannot move out of the thing. Same goes with the US also. If we are having running a WhatsApp and the WhatsApp storage is in the US, the moment data went to the US, the US law says that the data, if it has to move out, let's say we store the data in cloud provider and which data center in the US, and we want to bring data out, a copy of data will be there, and to get approval to move out the data means US government anytime can say, okay, this data belongs to me. Same Chinese government say data belongs to us. So what happened? Some TikTok got banned from many countries, right? So this regulatory measure can be a challenge, and it can be location specific. Same GDPR laws is there in the Europe. So GDPR compliance has to be there if someone is running the company on web and playing with the user data or working on a user data. Then I was saying the service level agreement, the vendor lock-in. When we are moving to the cloud to reduce the cloud cost, sometimes they offer lock-in, means if you take a longer term service, the price is really become very cheap. And vendor lock-in can be an issue if you want to move to another vendor. Migration can be a problem, or it will bring additional cost. Lack of performance and uptime. Though cloud provider gives high availability, major cloud provider, but sometimes we want more than that. And performance issue can come if our network is not there, means it is via the network. Cloud provider is providing high-speed connection, but if you don't have high-speed connection, then performance is there. Performance issue is there. Then network bandwidth is also a consideration. Then the outside agency dependency is there, like third party will come into play, and my team, company may not be having the knowledge of the cloud migration process, and we have to educate our team for regularly as well, with the knowledge currently with the cloud and as well as whatever changes happening in the future. So that will be the task of the IT department or cloud team to keep upgrade their company people knowledge. So cloud comes with vulnerability as well. So when the challenges are there, the vulnerability will also be there. So one of the vulnerabilities is season writing. So some attacker or spammer ride on the session. So when you're using a web application, so you have seen, right, the session layer, application layer are there, right? So, and many times when you accessing the website, they say allow all cookies or etc. permission they ask. So cookies are basically maintain some session. So with that, you don't have to do re-login again and again. So there are some timeline is there. Some banking services, they keep a shorter time session. Otherwise, usually they keep a 90 minutes of session key. So attacker can use that session to, it's like I type the Spara Bank website. So attacker can direct using my session key to a platform which will look like Spara Bank, but I enter my login and password, and after that it will say failure, and then the page will upload again, and the page will go to the actual Spara Bank. Now you enter the same username and password and you enter. But what happened? The cybercrime people are going to already have the login and password, and they may access your account and can transfer the money. So this vulnerability may be there. The vulnerability of hypervisor, like if there is a side attack already on the software used by the cloud provider, there is a side channel attacks are there. So then the cloud service can also be vulnerable. It is a rare, but very few times it has happened. It can cause a serious damage. Reliability and availability. Reliability and availability can be a cause, like some power outage can happen. Now you have seen, if you go through other demos of the other company like Google or Azure, you will see how much the backup plan they have for power outage and technical glitch or natural disaster they have kept to keep the cloud running. If we are using the not strong password, then or the cryptographic algorithm which is used for encrypted to and fro communication. If that is not secure, then that can come into the security issues can come, and someone else can get an access. Data portabilities can also cause a vulnerability. Like some organization want to move with data from one provider to another, but during that time the problem can happen or vulnerability can happen. The vendor lock-in is a vulnerability because it can cause low satisfaction for the user who are on a cloud. Then the internet dependency, and it is highly dependent on internet. I have moved my business completely on the cloud, and now the thing is that the cable connection via which internet is coming to, let's say, Tromso, and that cable has some failure. Now the company is completely cannot do anything because there is no internet. That means the business cannot run. So that also is a vulnerability there. Now we have crossed the time, so